7:33 Central African Time. Hello, Sonny Bonani! Welcome to the top tier of BrakeAway Racing League action. My name is Bob O'Connor. Welcome to a brand new taste of, top tier action. We will see just how this season will pan out. We have got debutantes, we've got possible storylines, and we have a lot in possible store for you. As you can see, we've got a decent complement of drivers over here. Zotal, Depot Crocodile are representing Red Bull and Alpine respectively. Romeo Madla is here representing Team AlphaTauri. He could have been teamed with Ingawako, aka D-Wax, but sadly D-Wax has had to vacate his race seat courtesy of some life/work development. So we do wish D-Wax the best. But Thiago Maestro is here, and we saw what sort of a show he put up in the playoffs, and we've seen Thiago put on some dominant performances in Tier 2. This is a step up, however, so Thiago is on debut in the top tier, as is definitely Duke in the Alfa Romeo seat. His teammate, Sage Figure of Speech, who looks very comfortable at this level. Ban Kobe is in the Haas seat this year. Fensei teams up with Don Rabico in what should be quite a partnership at Mercedes. Don Rabico is, of course, the defending champion who has been peerless ever since coming up to the top tier with the BrakeAway Racing League. But look at that! Down at McLaren, it is the return of the three-time champion. Cicle is back in the McLaren colors, and don't discount Smirch Django, of course, another former champion who deposed Cicle in seasons gone by. It looks like we'll have a single qualifying session here, 18 minutes these drivers have to go around this Silverstone circuit. Welcome, of course, to the first race of the season. If you're brand new to Formula One, the aim of the game in qualifying is pretty straightforward. You go around this track as fast as you possibly can. The quicker the time, the higher up the grid your car will start the race. So it's about being as inch perfect as possible in this challenging yet fast-flowing circuit, which is a favorite of many drivers, I would have you know. And we're looking forward to a very, very good one. 5.8 kilometer circuit, a total of 18 corners. It is one of the fastest circuits on the calendar. Very entertaining races with plenty of overtaking opportunities. It's a track which has full throttle for an average of about 70% of the lap, at least at the highest level of racing. And pit stops have an average time loss of about 21 seconds, but that is still a long way away. 18 minutes these drivers will have to send their cars around this track as best as they possibly can. And we'll take a look at the early details. That will be the tire compounds. Soft set of tires, understandably so. The soft tires are, of course, the quickest compound of tire that you have in Formula One. And there's brand new changes in Tier 1 of BrakeAway Racing League this season. One more assist has been taken off the table. So these drivers are driving without the assist of ABS. Of course, in Tier 1, there is also no traction assist, no braking assist either. So ABS off, of course, makes braking that much more challenging. These drivers have to watch not to completely have those lockups, as Kaboza says in the comments. It's great to see you, Kaboza, of course, formerly of this parish, a former Tier 1 driver. Now racing in Tier 2, we should see Kaboza back as soon as possible. Look at that. Thiago Maestro taking a leaf out of Tapiso's book. Tapiso is usually one of the first drivers to come out on circuit as early as possible. And today it is the debutant, Thiago Maestro. We know he's got a lot of pace. Very experienced driver. Does compete in a lot of other top racing leagues in South Africa. It's his debut in the top tier of BrakeAway Racing League. He looked utterly comfortable in Tiers 2 and 3. Of course, he did have a little bit of a challenge in Tier 2. What can he do now? He's got just over 16 minutes of this quality session to go to show us what he is made of. And here he comes now down towards a Stowe corner. And he will then enter the Vale chicane and exit Club Corner down into the Hamilton Straight to begin what will be the first representative lap around this Silverstone circuit. Estella was in the comment section, as is Key Music. It is fantastic to see you. I look forward to seeing what Thiago can do. On board we go. It's Thiago Maestro to set the first representative lap of Tier 1. Flat out through turn 1 and turn number 2. He'll now hit the braking zone very deep after the 50-meter mark into turn 3. And he's just adjusts his line to nail this apex, making sure that it is inch perfect. Here he comes now on the exit. He's sending it screaming down towards Brooklands and Luffield. Estelle predicts P1 Jonathan Lacka, P2 Cicle. Let us know if you agree with him. Sector 1 split of a 27.602 for Thiago Maestro. On debut, already on his hot lap, Billy Hendricks, the other debutant, is already pushing as well. We will see exactly how it will go. 15 minutes of this session to go. It's Thiago Maestro down the old pit straight as one of the slow-moving cars makes way for Thiago to tackle Cops Corner, where we had that almighty crash between Hamilton and Verstappen a couple of years ago. Here comes Thiago Maestro into Megas Beckett. What will the Sector 2 split be? The answer is 50. No, he's into the 1 minute. Let's say 1:03.150 at the end of the second sector. Here he comes now, screaming towards Stowe Corner, and we'll get a sense of just how well Billy Hendricks is doing, and the likes of Duke and Jonathan Lacka as well, who have also begun their hot laps. Thiago Maestro will be the first to set that representative time. How good will it be? He has exited the Bell Chicane. This is Club Corner. This is Thiago Maestro. This is 126.935 to set us off in qualifying on an absolute scorcher. What can Billy Hendricks do on debut? The answer is invalidate that first push lap. Let's hop on board to the former three-time champion whose Sector 1 split is a 27.398. Cicle has had a lot of smack spoken about him throughout the past couple of seasons ever since vacating his throne in BrakeAway Racing League. He is back with a vengeance on a vengeance mission. Revenge mission is Cicle. At the fellow records, we're going to see a time of the 125.7 come the end of this qualifying session. I'll tell you what, it's gray skies. I do wonder if we will have a few spots of rain before this qualifying session is over. We have just over 13 and a half minutes of this session to go. Cicle is just exiting Beckett's, not the cleanest navigations of those corners, but it's a 102.656 at the end of the second sector. Cicle screaming towards Stowe Corner, and eventually the Vale Chicane. Bankobi seems to be the only driver left in the pit lane. What can Cicle do on behalf of McLaren? Representing McLaren, Jonathan Lacka has just gone quickest. The 126.499 is that time. He nudges Thiago down to P2. Definitely Duke is the quickest driver, but can Cicle pip them? Yes, he can. It's a 26.037, and Cicle on his return is up to the very top of the timing sheet. But what about the champion? Oh, look at that. It's a 25.567. The first driver to breach into the 1 minute 25s is the champion. Don Rabico shall not be moved from the top step or from the throne at such an early stage with just under 12 minutes of the session to go. Look at that. Zotal has just crossed the line for the third quickest time thus far. Stage figure of speech has just pipped his teammate, definitely Duke, to that P4 spot. Smirch Django, former champion, is currently in that P6 spot. Jonathan Lacka currently 7th. Debo Crocodile, Bongani. Debo Crocodile is in P8, and Thiago, who started off this session, is down in P9 now. Mandla, the veteran of the top tier, is now navigating the start of Sector 2. Quite heavy on the curves there through Brooklyn. This is the right hand, that is turn 7. That is, of course, Luffield. Here comes Mandla down the old pit straight, setting it down towards Cops Corner. What will he do now through this second sector to hopefully challenge some of the top runners? 1 minute 25.567. is, well, quite frankly, daylight between Don Rabico and Cicle at the early stages of this qualifying session. This is Madla through Maggots, through Beckett now, and he eases off the throttle, takes Beckett through 6th gear, and now sends it screaming down this back straight towards Stowe Corner. Mandla looking to make his presence felt in this qualifying session. Overtake with Teppo is in the comments, says, let's go Tier 1. Teppo, that should be someone that we would love to see in this very dear lobby. Let's see how Mandla tackles the Vale Chicane. This is Club Corner. This is Mandla. For Alpha Tauri, it's a 28.085. Only good enough for P10 with the likes of Bankobi Fensei, the 86er, and the rookie, Billy Hendricks, still to set their representative laps. Welcome to the top tier of BrakeAway League Racing. If you've just joined us, it's the first race of the season. It's Mandla, who we've just seen come across the line, 128.065. Oh no, Seppo sadly will not be joining us. Load shedding has struck over there. Let's hop on instead to Bongani, Debo Crocodile, distant cousin of Debo Alligator, possibly Debo Cayman. Now on the exit of, that looks like it was Luffield, and he's now taking it towards Cops Corner. I see that 15 of you in total have just joined us. It's fantastic to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for making the BrakeAway Racing League your league of choice this evening. It's Debo Crocodile into Magnuson Beckett. Oh, he took the liberties there with the track limits, almost invalidating there. And you can see that huge lift of the throttle. Debo Crocodile perhaps had a heart-in-mouth moment there. Despite that, he has still gained about a tenth of a second compared to his previous best time, which is a 1 minute 26.834. Man Ray, former T1 drivers in the comment section saying BrakeAway is back with the fire emojis. Absolutely. Man Ray, of course, was part of the contingent putting on a show in Tier 2 last night. This is Debo Crocodile's improvement attempt, and it's now a 26.679 P8 for Debo Crocodile. Well, we've got a couple of cars on outlaps. Let's see now. The 86er, sadly, does have a representative lap, but has just invalidated. So we're going to have to see how he fares next time around. Tier 1 is going to be so competitive this season. Hope load shedding does not rob us of some entertainment. So says Key Music. I hope so too, as Thiago finds almost 2/10 of a second come the end of that first sector. Now navigating Luffield. Ooh. Had to adjust that line, did Thiago. But he's still keeping it together. He's on a brand spanking set of soft compound tires, as you can see. This will be the first push lap on this set with just over 9 minutes of this session to go. It's Thiago into Maggot. Oh, taking all the liberties there with the track limits. There's a yellow flag on another part of the track as Thiago, come the end of Sector 2, has found more than it looks like more than 2/10, almost 3/10 of a second. I hope I just did get that right. Oh, there's a slow-moving car. Who was that? Make way for the fast-moving. Oh, no, who was that? They almost compromised Thiago's lap, but it was a slow-moving car. We tried to change the camera angle, but we could not see who that is. Was that a Merc, one of the Mercedes cars? Was that, it could have been, Fence, slow-moving Fence. Almost completely ruined Thiago's, push lap over there. Thiago will not be happy with that. We're just going to send an invite here, folks, to make sure that Simps, another debutante, is making their way into this lobby in time. This is, of course, the 86er. Looks like they're moving slowly through this the track. Doesn't look like the 86er is pushing at this particular point. So we're going to hop on board with the Fence, who might have to have a word with the stewards. As Azuri says, Man Ray wants to kill us. Azuri, of course, was racing last night in Tier 2. On board we go with Fence, who takes so much of the track limits. Oh, almost possibly invalidating there. He took so much of the curb to Fence. He is much quicker than the car ahead of him, which is seemingly also on a push lap through Magnuson Beckett. But Fence lifts off the throttle quite significantly there. It is fifth gear through the exit of Beckett, and he passes the slow-moving, looks like an AlphaTauri that is. But this is still a valid lap for Fence 360. Teammate to the champion, Don Rabico, and now approaching the Vale chicane. And hits the braking point just before the 50-meter port. And now touches the curb. And Seaclay, the three-time champion, sets a brand new fastest lap with a 25.513 by some small margin. The former champion is here to make sure that his presence is felt. Don Rabico is going to have to feel the pressure because Seaclay is not going down without a fight. It's Thursday action night in the first race of Tier 1 of the BrakeAway Racing League season. Seaclay is here to make a heck of a statement, and look at that. Definitely Duke has just crossed the line for the third quickest time today. Now 3 drivers have set a time in the 1 minute 25 second mark. So we'll see how they will do. Meanwhile, Don Radical has seen that P1 spot, pole position, has been snatched from him by the former champion Seaclay. What can he say in response? Now tackles turn 1 to Don Radical into the apex of 2. No issues for the Mercedes driver, who is very, very experienced as far as driving with ABS switched off. Remember, for a lot of these drivers, it's their first time. Smirch Django has retired from this session. I'm just looking at the track map. It might have been a retirement in the pits from Smirch Django there, which is hugely surprising. The former champion Smirch Django is out of the session. And look at that, we have the first spots of rain, meaning these are your final chances to push and send this car absolutely screaming down this track, because as the track gets wetter, the chances to improve on those times will be few and far between. That is Van Colby, who has also opted to retire his car at this stage of this qualifying session. Don Ravical will be hoping to somehow find inches of improvement. No, he's down. Don Ravical can't find improvement with the track getting wetter. He's down about a tenth of a second from his best time here today. 25.56 times was the best he could do, but as the track is getting wetter, it is getting more and more difficult, and Don Ravical throws in the towel. He is into the pit lane, meaning Seatley will be in pole position, provided that this session does not end on the rain. As you can see, Don Ravical has retired his car in the pits. No chance of improvement. Definitely Duke. Where is he? He's making his way back into the pits. Zotal, what a time that was. Currently P4, 1 minute 26.082. Slow moving car, as you can see. And it looks like he's just nursing that, that Red Bull RB19 all the way back into the pit lane. And Seatley in the comment section says, okay, all right, I am P1. Comfortable enough to dip into the comment section is Seatley, despite the fact that he's currently in the cockpit in the pit lane. So we'll see how he fares. Sage figure of speech. Very much used to conditions of the top tier of BrakeAway Racing League now, currently the 5th quickest time. And as you can see, it looks like Seatley is going to be in pole position from Don Ravical. Oh, what a tasty front row at the start of this race. These two ultra-competitive fighters with fighter pilot mentality will be absolutely scrapping into turn 1, Abbey Corner. Definitely Duke on debut in the top tier will start on the second row alongside Zotal. It's a new order in the top tier BrakeAway Racing League. Sitch figure of speech is on the third row alongside former champion Django, who opted to retire as soon as those first spots of rain started to fall. Tiago Maestro on debut is going to be alongside Smirch Django. Oh, what a race we have in prospect. Donathan Laka, the musician, one half of the DJ duo Lemon and Herb, is going to hope, to make that Williams sing in this race. Debo Crocodile Bongani, distant cousin of Debo Alligator, possibly Debo Cayman, will start in P9, seemingly, with just over 3 minutes of the session to go. Billy Hendricks is still giving it a little bit of a push around this circuit with 10 minutes, or rather with that P10 provisionally. And Fensei seemingly hanging on to that P11 spot. The 86er P12, Romeo Mandela P13, Van Colby P14 in the Haas as things currently stand, as you can see. Drivers opting to retire from this session. The guys are saving tires, says Manray in the comment section, as Billy Hendricks on debut struggles for grip and spins off the circuit on the exit of Brooklands. And now that car is still intact. He's now sending it straight down towards Cop's Corner. Ban Kobe unimpressed with his prospects thus far. It looks like we will have two more racers come the start of this race. Loveness has just joined the lobby, as has Simpiwe Zondi, a.k.a. Simps, another debutant to the top tier, highly experienced in other South African racing leagues. Very pacey prospect, and, we'll have to fight his way all the way from the back. And if we do have a rainy race, well, that would certainly make things very, very interesting. Billy Hendricks on debut. The rookie is back into the pit lane. Seatley in the comment section is, playing it quite coy, being quite modest, talking down his own chances, saying Don or Simps will win. Last the first challenge in the top tier Well, Simps would have to put on a heck of a show to do something like that. Perhaps if it's a safety car affected race, but the likes of Smirch Jango, Tiago, Donathan Laka, Debo Crocodile, Billy, Fence, 86er, Mandla, Ban Kobe, Loveness will not make it straightforward at all. Hopefully, Simpiwe Zondi Simps can pick a car. There it is. Has picked that car. So Simps will be on the starting grid. And Fence is just giving it one last go and bringing it all the way back into the pits.
Let's keep on. I think should be. Come on, okay. Also the second time, that was in pure another loveness. Also the second time.
Yeah, Kanjani indeed. It's quite difficult to think how one would be able to hold their own in such a stacked Tier 1 field. As a lot of you have said, it's a season to look forward to here in Breakaway. The Nucho was in the comment section saying it's going to be tough here. Manray says Ban Kobe 3 seconds slower. And it's looking quite difficult, says Manray. Tiago says let's get on with this race. The guys was just to retire so that we can get racing as soon as possible. Tiago Maestro desperate to show what he can do, lining up alongside Smirch Jango, the former champion. And we should have a beautifully entertaining race in prospect. Look at that. Margins, fine. Less than... We have about 500ths of a second separating pole position, and Don Rabico in P2. Seaclay on his return starts in front. Definitely Duke, the third driver into the 1 minute 25s, and then we have Zotile about half a second behind. Looking at the sets of tires used over there, let's get back to the times. Zotile fourth, six figure of speed to Django, Tiago, Donathan Laka, and Billy Hendricks rounding off the top 10. Fence, 86er, and Mandla will be fighting it out from outside the points positions at this particular point. And at this point, we will also get a sense of what the weather is looking like and whether or not that rain will carry over to the start of this race. Welcome to BrakeAway Racing League. Please remember to like the stream if you have not done so already. It's a beautiful blue skies out here in Silverstone, so at least for the start of the race, we are going to have dry conditions. Yeah, remember to like the stream if you have not done so already. Subscribe to our channel. It is the season opener here in BrakeAway Racing League in the top tier. Tier 3 races on Wednesdays, Tier 2 on... Tier 3 races on Tuesdays, I beg your pardon. Tier 2 on Wednesdays, and of course, Tier 1 races on Thursday evenings. Tier 1 usually begins 7:30 Central African time, and the other tiers at 8 p.m. Central African time. Azuri, thank you very much for the positive commentary, and we look forward to seeing you do your thing in the rest of the Tier 2 season. And who knows, perhaps an early promotion. Here we go now with his 4 lights, 5 lights. The only time South Africans look forward to the lights going out. We are racing in Silverstone, and it is a straight scrap between Don Rabico and Seaclay. It's Don Rabico on the inside into turn number 1, and Seaclay is still hanging on by the skin of his teeth. Don Rabico pressing him as much as he possibly can. Don Rabico still hanging on to that P2 spot, and here comes Duke, giving the top 2 drivers a lot to think about. Who's tumbled down the order? The 86er has had a nightmare start, tumbling down, losing 4 places all the way to the back. Duke is trying to hunt down the race leaders, as is Zotile. These are your top 4. It is Seaclay from Don Rabico, and then Duke from Zotile. 6 figure speeds about half a second behind the top 4 drivers. Tiago Maestro has managed to overtake Smirch Jango in the midfield. He's gained that 1 spot. As you can see, the biggest mover thus far is Simpiwe Zondi Simps from the back of the pack, gaining 3 places. Loveness has gained 1, as has Don Rabico, who has taken the lead from Seaclay in the early stages of this race. As they come through Cobb's Corner, we have a new race leader, and we have a yellow flag now in Sector 2. Thankfully, yellow flag is all that we get. No safety car, no virtual safety car, as things currently stand, as the pack shuffles just a little bit in the early stages of this race. It's Don Rabico into the lead before the end of lap number 1, and now Seaclay is huffing and puffing, trying to catch up to the Mercedes driver. Definitely Duke is definitely looking good in the early stages, looking to apply the pressure on the 3-time champion, that being Seaclay, and an early 3-second time penalty with barely a lap completed. Multiple warnings for Fence. who has seemingly taken liberties with track limits so early at the end of lap 1 already has a 3-second time penalty. Don Rabico leads from C-Clay from definitely Duke with the first lap having been completed. Now Zotal is hanging on to that P4 spot. No changes to positions among the drivers, positions 3 all the way down to 6. It looks like Thiago Maestro may have had a huge incident, sending him tumbling all the way down to the back of the pack. I wonder what might have happened there. Did he lose a wing or something like that? May have had moment of contact and spun off the track completely, and he's going to have to drive off and recover his rest of this race. Don Rabico is absolutely pushing in the early stages of this race, and just want to make sure we see the thinking as far as the tire compounds are concerned. Perhaps it's no surprise that Don Rabico got that overtake done so quickly. C-Clay is playing the longer game, opted for a set of hard tires, so we'll go on a much longer initial stint here, and C-Clay is now trying to make sure that he does not lose that P2 spot to Duke, who was on a faster set of medium tires behind the former champion. And as they now come into Stowe Corner, the gap between those two is about 0.3 of a second. Zotal, hanging on for dear life, knows that he has a decent shot of a possible race win if things go really well, or a podium at the very least if it's a good day for the Red Bull driver, who was back in the familiar colors of the Red Bull. Of course, some of you longer-term viewers of the BrakeAway Racing League will know that Zotal has spent a lot of time racing for Team Red Bull in the top tier of BrakeAway Racing League. This is his point of view from that P4 spot as he sees the Alfa Romeo of Duke just slipping and sliding a little bit on the exit of, I think that was turn number 4. Here they come now. It's Duke on the attack versus C-Clay. He thought about it on the entry into Brooklyn, but was not quite close enough to get that move done. We will stay as close as possible to this action. C-Clay tries to adjust that line into the apex of Luffield, but let us now see how well this can go. It is Duke hunting down the 3-time champion C-Clay, who is still trying to get those hard tires to sing relative to the faster compound that Don Rabico is running. But try as he might, Duke not quite able to get that overtake done. This is lap 3, of course. DRS does get enabled after 3 laps, meaning that the rear wing will open, that rear wing flap, giving Duke a couple extra kilometers per hour to be able to inch even closer to the back of that McLaren, but C-Clay making that car as wide as possible and giving Duke giving Duke a very difficult time. Let's Capo now to the midfield. Oh no! It's cars possibly making contact. Oh no, Donovan Laika! Someone might have hit him from behind. He was trying not to hit People Crocodile and Fence, but instead he might have been knocked from behind. But let's see whether or not he can get this done at this particular point of the race. We're going to hop on board with Simpiwe Zandi, who is fighting his way, having started all the way at the back of the pack, and is now looking to scramble past Donovan Laka, Debo Croc, and Fence. We heard moments of contact between these drivers. It's a fierce midfield battle over here, and Simpiwe Zandi on the hard tires, as is, of course, as are some of the drivers around him, is trying to make sure that it's a simple overtake, but of course easier said than done, because behind Sims is the rookie Billy Hendricks, who was hanging on to the points position. Smirts Jango started off much further ahead, but of course off camera might have had a moment which saw him tumbling down the order. I do wonder if Smirts Jango has taken damage, because here comes Simps now attacking Donovan Laka into Magnuson Beckett. Lifts off the throttle over there, trying to not make contact with the back of that Williams. Oh, Sims almost going completely off the track. And further ahead, definitely Duke has overtaken C-Clay. We'll catch up with that in a minute or two, but it looks like Sims is saving up his battery power, has about 73%, and opted not to use his battery down that long straight before they came into Stowe Corner. And it looked like the Williams of Donovan Laka thought about going for it on Fence. But now it looks like, Sims is going to be also close. They're going to go wheel to wheel, side by side through Club Corner, and now down the Hamilton Straight towards turn number 1. But look like Donovan Laka has superior straight line speed relative to Sims. Back on board we go with the Aston Martin. It is also fierce, also close, with 5 laps of 26 E-laps in this season opening race. Here comes Sims, thinking about going for it on the outside. In these initial sequence of corners behind Sims is Billy Hendricks, who's trying to keep the Ferrari of Smirch Django at bay. Here comes Sims now. They all have DRS to these cars in this 4-car train. Oh, Devo Crocodile, or rather Fence has just overtaken Devo Crocodile to go up to P6 in this 4-way fight in the battle ostensibly for P6. But it looks like Donazon Laka is going to fight for it versus Devo Crocodile. On board we go. But he was not close enough to get that done. Devo Crocodile struggling with 4 laps gone on these hard tires. Not quite having the easiest of times under an insane amount of pressure from behind, as well as having just been overtaken by Fence. But what can Sims do? He's watching this all play out. Is Sims? He's biding his time. You know what sort of pace he has. Oh, they go side by side. It's 3 wide in the Stowe corner. But it looks like Fence has fallen behind. And they go wheel to wheel. Donazon Laka and Devo Crocodile. Do they make a little bit of contact? No, they don't. And it looks like Donazon Laka comes off best over there. Oh my word. Simpiwe Zani has just overtaken Devo Crocodile and Fence. Oh no. It looks like someone may have come off worse. It looks like Fence is the one who's fighting for his life, but here comes Smirch Django, now having a day here versus Billy Hendricks. It's the rookie versus the former champion, and Smirch Django has to give the rookie a wide berth, but Smirch Django was braver on the brakes, and he gets the overtake done on Fence 360, and Fence, who was in P6 just less than a minute ago, has absolutely tumbled down the order, is now on the brink of falling out of the points position. Fence goes from P6 to P10 in a matter of about a few minutes. Here comes Django on the inside of the rookie Billy Hendricks into Brooklyn. Oh, they try not to make contact. Oh, Billy Hendricks, watch it. Try not to make contact with the Ferrari. But they do bang wheels. They do make contact here through left field. And Smirch Django tries to give a wide berth to the rookie. And Django is going to be losing precious tenths of a second to the likes of Sims and Donazon Laka, who are way down the road, about 2.5 seconds down the road, as the Sims, who's trying to fight his way up this grid, has racked up a 3-second time penalty. And man, oh man, folks, I can barely keep my breath over here. My voice is almost fried, and we have 20 laps of racing still to go. Here comes Django. It's the former champion versus the rookie on the exit of Beckett's down the slalom straight towards Stowe corner. They go side by side. How hard will Billy Hendricks fight it into Stowe corner? Will he make contact, Billy Hendricks? He almost goes nose to tail into the back of the Ferrari, but Billy Hendricks has to concede as they now come in through the Vale chicane. Billy Hendricks has to contend with P9. Thiago Maestro had a huge incident earlier on, now battling Ban Kobe. Thiago, on debut, goes screaming off the track. What the heck happened there? And he sends it into the wall. It's the first safety car of the race. Thiago Maestro becomes the first casualty. He was trying to tackle Ban Kobe, but that car went screaming off the track, and the safety car has been called out. Don Rabico. Oh no, Billy Hendricks gets a time penalty for speeding under the safety car. Remember, safety car conditions mean that the racing is suspended, no overtaking allowed. The pace is slowed down to about 40% of normal pace. And it does equate to a possible free pit stop at this point. Because you would not lose as much time as you would if it was under regular racing conditions. And with that dramatic moment, courtesy of Thiago Maestro, it is Don Rabico still in the lead. His advantage was about 2.6 seconds at this particular point. Such a dramatic race. As the inquest is going on, Don Rabico opts to come in. It's a well-timed safety car for Don Rabico. Of course, those soft tires would have been the first to die off. Interestingly, look at that. Seatley, on 6-lap old hards, is also coming into the pits. With about 18 laps of racing still to go, all of the top 4 are in the pits. It looks like Sidge Figure of Speech has opted to stay out. Oh no, Sidge Fig speeding under the safety car. Now we'll have to serve a drive-through penalty when racing is resumed. So Sidge Figure of Speech had a golden opportunity here for a possible, podium if things went really well. But now we'll have to serve a drive-through penalty. That'll cost him dearly at this particular point. Don Ravico comes out of the pits on those brand new hard tires. P5 and Seaclay, who was P2, comes out ostensibly a net P2 here. And he comes out in 6th place at definitely Duke. Comes out in 7th, and oh man, it's rookie mistakes here. All these guys are earning time penalties. Fensei got penalized for speeding in the pit lane. That's a 5-second time penalty for Fensei. On top of that, 3-second time penalty for track limits incursions earlier on. This is a Fensei serving that time penalty. They're not touching that car, and that 5 seconds has elapsed. It's a wing change for Fensei, who started off as a fairly decent lead, but sadly now has a recovery race in prospect. It's going to be soft tires for Fensei, so we can assume that he has committed to a 2-stop strategy, because there's no way those soft tires will last all the way until the end of this race. The 86er rounds off the standings here. Sig Figure of Speech has left the session. Oh no, I do hope Sig Fig has not disconnected. Just going to try and send an invite once again, in case it is a disconnection, and in case they would like to come back. Donovan Laka opted not to come into the pits, as you can see. 7-lap old hard tires for him. Django also yet to pit. As it stands, Sage Figure of Speech, well, the ghost of Sage is coming into the pits, and that'll shift the order once again, meaning that Donovan Laka will restart this race at the front. I know there is an inquest going on in the commentary section. Tipiso rightfully asking about the qualifying parameters and whether or not it should have been a short quali that we had earlier on. Pretty sure all of that would and should be communicated in due course to make sure that proper procedure is followed. Under the safety car, of course, we do hope that this would be the last lap. Let's get a sense of just how much the game has changed. Of course, none of the top 3 have pitted. Donovan Laka, it is a net 7-place gain. Smirch Django, net 4 places gained since the start of this race. Billy Hendricks, 7 places gained since the start of this race. The likes of Mandla having gained 6, and Loveness 7, and then Simps having gained 5 places. Van Colby having gained about 3 places since the start of this race. None of the top 3 have stopped. Mandla has opted also to stay out on that initial set of tires, currently in 7th on those hards that he started on. Tato, aka Loveness, has a time penalty to contend with, also has yet to stop. 86er not having a great day in the office, already 2 pit stops, presumably one of which was impacted by an incident beyond his control. Perhaps may have had to change wings earlier on. And look at that, Fensei only now coming out of the pits. 3rd pit stop for Fensei. Gonna have to fight all the way from the back of this pack. 9 laps of a total 26 elapsed. If you've just joined us, welcome to the top tier of BrakeAway Racing League. Welcome to Silverstone. Donovan Laka leads the pack. We're still under safety car. It does not look like it would be coming in. It would have come in already at this particular point. So it seems like it'll only come in at the end of this lap. Thank you for joining us, folks. If you have not done so already, remember to like the stream, subscribe to our channel as well. We're almost at the halfway point of this race. Azuri says, you know what? You guys should appreciate us more. Tier 2 did not have a single safety car. A dramatic moment, of course, with that DNF, the sole DNF, Thiago Maestro, sadly, on debut, crashing out in what was a fierce possible fight, trying to hunt down this man, Dan Colby. currently finds himself out of the points. Let's look at that, folks. When racing is resumed, Billy Hendricks and Sage Figure of Speech need to serve drive-through penalties. They were speeding under the safety car, sadly, so that'll drop them down the pack. Billy Hendricks hasn't even pitted yet. I suppose it would have been perhaps prudent for Billy Hendricks possibly to pit under the safety car so that he does not lose too much time. He's still going to serve a drive-through and is still going to have to pit to change tires. So questionable decision-making there at Team Red Bull. Almost goes into the back of Smirch Django. Would have damaged their wing, which would not have been good. Man Ray says Tier 1 is still adjusting to driving with ABS off. As we mentioned earlier on in the stream, this is the first race, the first season in BrakeAway that Tier 1 has the ABS assist taken off, and that does heavily impact the way that you come into corners. Some of these drivers have been driving with ABS off for quite some time, the likes of Seaflake, Django, Don Ravico, even Simps, possibly. And Race Control has given word that the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. So Donathon Laka will dictate the pace. It is up to the Williams race leader to decide how fast everyone goes. He will back everyone off, and then at his discretion, before the safety car line on the main straight, he will decide when to push. It looks like he is already pushing now into the Vale chicane. Did he catch them off guard? Not quite. It seems Billy Hendricks and Smirch Django were not caught off guard. They are close enough, but Billy Hendricks is struggling to keep pace. The top two drivers are already, looks like, a second away from the P3 running Billy Hendricks. Smirch Django is piling the pressure on Donovan Laka in the battle for the race lead as these drivers tackle lap 11 of a total 26. It looks like Donovan Laka is struggling for grip through turns 1 and 2. He's going to exit this initial sequence of corners, trying to make sure that Django does not get slipstream. He weaves to the left and to the right. He should not do that too much down a straight, of course. And looks like Django has a better entry into Brooklyn. And through Luffield, it looks like Donovan Laka struggling for grip. And Smirch Django almost makes contact with the back of the Williams. But Don Rabico and Seaclay have made mincemeat of Billy Hendricks, the rookie. Seaclay is now running in P4, having dispatched the rookie Billy Hendricks, and Don Rabico weaves to the right, trying to get an angle of when will be best to overtake the Ferrari ahead of him. It's also close between the top four. Remember, Don Rabico, Seaclay are on a fresher set of tires. They've got a lot more grip than the likes of Donovan Laka and Django. Here comes Seaclay, though, looking to tackle on the inside, or it's going to be the outside into Stowe. They go now running in formation. Oh, it's slight contact that Seaclay makes with the back of Don Ravico. Here they come now to the Vale chicane. Who will be braver? Don Ravico goes for an audacious move on the outside of Django. They bang wheels, a little bit of contact, but Don Ravico lifts off the brake so as to not make terminal contact with the Ferrari. But Seaclay smells blood as they come now into Abbey. Will Seaclay smell an opportunity to overtake? Not quite at this particular moment. Oh, yes, he does! Into turn 2. Oh my God, that is so audacious. They bang wheels, but Seaclay relents. He lifts off the throttle, and it is oh so tight between these two titans, these two champions, these two challengers for the top tier. Here they come now into Brooklands. What will Seaclay do versus Don Ravico? He is applying the most pressure. Remember, folks, Don Ravico at this point is on a hard compound of tire, which takes slightly longer to get up to optimum temperatures. Seaclay has the better grip at this point. Seaclay knows he needs to overtake here to take advantage. Here comes Don Ravico on the inside of Django, in through Cup's corner, and he goes up to P2. Don Ravico, that was sensational. Seaclay says, I will have a taste of that too, and he overtakes the Ferrari. Smirch Django tries he might, cannot contend with the grip levels that Seaclay and Don Ravico have at this stage of the race. 12 laps gone. It is off and popping here at this particular point. Meanwhile, definitely Duke is having a huge tussle here. Three-way fight. Oh no, Billy Hendricks goes off the track here as they scrap for position. And Duke and Billy Hendricks makes contact here coming off of Stowe Corner. Billy Hendricks finally comes into the pits, and it looks like these cars are locking up. Those tires are kicking up so much smoke. And Simpiwe Zandi on debut is here to make his presence felt. And the safety car will be giving him a lot of hope that something special can happen here today. It's a scrap for the race lead. Let's catch up with Cicle now in towards turn number 1. It looks like he tried, but was not quite close enough to get that move done. I can barely keep up with everything happening at the towards the front of this pack here. Cicle down towards Brooklands is going to go for it wheel to wheel, and it looks like he's got that move done. Beautiful overtake in towards Brooklands, and this is now Luffield turn 7 that he is exiting, and Cicle will send it blasting. He uses a little bit of ERS, of course, that does the 3-time champion, sending it absolutely screaming down towards Cop's corner. But Don Ravico will not take this lying down. Donathan Laka has been really trying and fighting as hard as he possibly can, but not quite able to keep up. And now Simpiwe Zandi trying to get a taste of the action eventually at the front of the pack is really trying and fighting for his life here, as Uncle Fabi says Cicle is an absolute beast on this racing game. As Simpiwe Zandi thought about it on the inside of definitely Duke before Stone Corner, but was not quite close enough to get that move done. There is so much action towards the front of this pack here, folks. Let us not neglect the midfield. Zotal is about half a second behind Simpiwe Zandi at this particular point, and does not have time penalties, as Django has just overtaken Donathan Laka to go up to P3 at the front of the pack. Fensei versus Debo Crocodile versus the 86er is a 3-way battle, ostensibly for P9. Here they come now in towards turn 3 that was, and it's a very, very close scrap between all of these guys. Definitely Duke has just overtaken Donathan Laka. Remember, Duke is on a much fresher set of tires, as you can see over there. Sensei is going to have to contend with a time penalty come the end of this race, but now needs to make sure that this fight does not last as long, and that he can somehow claw his way ahead of this 4-car fight. It is not going to be easy, as Carboza, watching the pace and the level of intensity of the fighting throughout this grid, says that getting points is not going to be easy here. Do you agree with Carboza? I would certainly do so. If you do so, let us know your thoughts in the comment section. This quartet is making its way through Magnuson Beckett, and it looks like Debo Crocodile may be at risk here, because this is Fensei. No, this is the 86er. The teammate is just going to go past Debo Crocodile here. The two Alpines swap positions. 86er. Oh no! Fensei goes into the back of Debo Crocodile, and Fensei loses a front wing. Fensei might yet have to come in for a 4th pit stop of the day, and it's a nightmare situation for the Mercedes driver. Meanwhile, Debo Crocodile is fighting for his life now versus the likes of the 86er. And who's that ahead? It's Ban Kobe that they have now caught up with. And the 86er thought about going for it. Will they? Oh, Ban Kobe tries to give the 86er a little bit of room. They were close. They almost made contact. But of course, that did compromise. Oh, the 86er struggling for grip. They're on the exit of that corner. And Debo Crocodile, despite being big teammates, is going to go for it down this short straight DRS. That rear wing is open. And they're oh so close. They're going to try not to make contact. Oh no! 86er hits Bad Kobe, and both of them through Brooklands go into the grass, and Bad Kobe will be seething. The 86er tumbles down the order, and Loveness says, thank you very much. I will not need a second invitation to snatch P8 from you. The 86er may yet be censured when all is said and done, but after 15 laps, these drivers struggling to come to grips with ABS being switched off are struggling for grip, and Debo Crocodile is the biggest winner. Remember, he was scrapping with his teammates, unlike the Ban Kobe there. So Ban Kobe now is going to have to try and do as best he can to catch back up. Meanwhile, Cicle leads with about 10 laps of racing still to go. Cicle's tires will be at a disadvantage at the end of this lap. Remember, medium tires are naturally softer than hard tires, and the hard tires are the longest lasting set. They take longer to degrade. So Cicle, come the end of this race, will be struggling for grip relative to the current champion, Don Ravico. But I tell you what, these two have put on a heck of a show in this season opener. of the BrakeAway Racing League. 10 laps of racing still to go. The three-time former champion who has rejoined the top tier today has really made his presence felt here today. Seakley is, of course, a very competitive, very proud man fighting for bragging rights among other things in the top tier. Seakley needed a safety car or wanted another safety car. It says Man Ray to win this race, possibly. We're on board now with the current champion, Don Ravigo, who has been peerless in the top tier since coming up to tier 1. Now, within half a second, and look at that, about 45% of battery power remaining, as you can see, versus Seakley, who has done well, despite leading, has about 50% of his battery power remaining at this particular point. Half a second separating Don Ravigo and Seakley. Welcome to BrakeAway Racing League. Like the stream, subscribe to our channel if it's your first time joining us, first time tuning in. We do hope that you can join us. And is that Sanale Mazansi with the XD YouTube icon? Well, let's see how Seakley tackles Brooklands and Luffield now. As Don Ravigo is just content. Oh no! Loveless and the 86er have crashed out, bringing out the second safety car of the day! Where oh where did that happen? I do wonder if any of these trailing cars, it looks like that might have happened. Is that Stowe Corner? I'm trying to see on the track map. I don't quite know where and how that happened, but that safety car will shake things up. Loveness and the 86er have crashed out of this race. Drama in the final third of this race remaining. Well, what will the leaders do at this particular point of the race? They both come into the pits. They better watch their speed not to earn a time penalty. What'll it be? Bring on the soft tires, says Key Music. Mediums are the best bet, says Man Ray, who would go conservative if he was in that position. All of the top 4, all of the top 5 into the pits. Now, the safety car, they will drive behind the safety car once again. Everybody will be backed up behind the safety car. It is going to be close. Seakley goes for the soft. Don Ravigo goes for the mediums. Well, we have differing tire strategies. It looks like Duke goes for the softs, Imperial for the mediums. It's a mixed bag in the top 5. Zotal has opted for the soft tires. What about Debo Crocodile, Bongani, and Guanya? Debo Crocodile, distant cousin of Debo Alligator, possibly Debo Cayman, will fit on a set of soft tires, so he's going to go aggressive at the restart. We'll have a lot more grip, of course, in the early parts of the race restart. Donovan Laka, who had pitted 3 laps ago, is, well, opting to stay out here, opting to keep track position on these 3-lap old mediums. Very experienced driver, very capable driver is Donovan Laka. Consistent as far as collecting points are concerned. More often than not, when Donovan Laka starts a race, he collects a decent amount of points. Donovan Laka, now a fixture in the top tier. Last season collected a total of 52 points, and he had 1 podium finish to Donovan Laka last season. So, yeah, he is a very capable prospect. Debo Crocodile is on the soft, as is Ban Kobe, who still has that time penalty to contend with. Smirch Django is one to watch very, very carefully at the race restarts. We're talking about a former champion here who is very, very adept in these conditions. He is very much used to racing. Number 1, on a racing wheel by now, and number 2, with a lot of these assists switched off. So watch this man very, very closely at the restart as he tries to fight his way through the field. Ban Kobe being Ban Kobe will not make it easy. Currently P8 is the Haas driver. Billy Hendricks, the rookie, on debut, is currently in P10. Now, in Formula 1, only the top 10 finishers get points. So 10th place would be just a single championship point, and what a result that would be for Billy Hendricks on debut in the top tier. Romeo, Mandela, Massengo will have an advantage versus Billy Hendricks at the restart because he has just pitted for a set of soft tires. Fensei has had a nightmare of a day here today. Currently P12, just gone past... Fensei, what's going on there? Slight slide was just overtaking the ghost of Sage figure of speech. Needs to come back into the reckoning over here. So, C-Plate from Don Radico. That is going to be so tasty on the restart. Definitely Duke. Those are your top three. As this race hurtles on towards its conclusion, I would love to hear who your thoughts are on the driver of the day. Grimjaw, says C-Plate. My teammate is doing well. Grimjaw, it's great to see you in the comments. Would have loved to see you doing your thing. Grimjaw, another sensational talent in BrakeAway Racing League. Definitely look forward to seeing Grimjaw racing in these here lobbies as this season carries on from week to week. Some P-Way Zondi has a time penalty to contend with, but the safety cars have really helped him claw his way up to P4. Now, C-Clay earlier on in the comment section mentioned that he expects this man to be fighting it out for a race win, but that 3-second time penalty will cost him dearly. Now, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the fastest driver of the day. As you can see, C-Clay has set the fastest lap that we have seen up until this point, a 1 minute 29.090. The fastest driver of the day who qualified in pole position. Currently leads the race. Don Rabico not far behind with that 1 minute 29.151. And a smattering of other drivers also having set times in the 1 minute 29s, as you can see. Race control has given the word that the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. That means, C-Clay, it is your prerogative to back the pack up, to dictate the pace. At this particular point of the race, Sims has a 9-second penalty. Oh no, that'll cost him dearly. Oh man, yeah, that is Sims pretty much out of the podium prospect as we watch to see when C-Clay will absolutely send it. It is C-Clay's prerogative. As you can see, Don Rabico is trying not to get caught out. Here comes C-Clay into the Vale chicane, sending it now, taking advantage of these drivers behind him who will be braking, but Don Rabico will not be caught unawares too much. Oh, C-Clay, it's a sensational start. He's about almost 7/10 of a second ahead of the driver in P2, 8/10 of a second, and C-Clay is absolutely sending it. Remember, he has much more grip at this particular point in the race. We will hop on board now with Duke, definitely Duke, who is behind the race leader by a factor of 1.3 seconds. Remember, at this particular point, Don Ravico's mediums are trying to get into that optimum condition as far as getting heat into the tires are concerned. And already, C-Clay is 1.2 seconds ahead of Don Ravico with 6 laps of racing still to go. Definitely Duke is trying to keep some P-Way Zondi at bay. Looks like he's doing that as best as he possibly can. Let's take a look at that interval gap between these guys. It looks like Don Ravico's really struggling to keep up with the pace of C-Clay on those soft tires, absolutely screaming out of reach by a factor of 1.7 seconds. Definitely Duke is going to give Don Ravico a lot to think about here through Magus and Beckett. Or can he on the exit over here down this straight towards Stone Corner? Oh, tries he might. He's not quite close enough to give him headaches. Meanwhile, Smooch Django versus Debo Crocodile gets that overtake down. Now up to P7. Django on the soft tires, on a fight back, on a mission to somehow fight and claw his way up towards the battle for those podium places. C-Clay is the quickest driver on track. 1 minute 27.032 is a full 2 seconds quicker than the previous fastest lap that we had seen. That was helped by none other than C-Clay himself. Mandla versus the rookie Billy Hendricks. Now down for that final point finish. Billy Hendricks makes that car as wide as possible through that initial sequence of corners, and Mandla is going to try and get into that optimum condition as far as getting heat into the tires are concerned. And already, C-Clay is 1.2 seconds ahead of Don Ravico with 6 laps of racing still to go. Definitely Duke is trying to keep some P-Way Zondi at bay. Looks like he's doing that as inch further forward and try and pressure Billy Hendricks into a mistake. Billy Hendricks on the exit of that corner went slightly wide, but Mandla was not close enough to take advantage. Django has now gone up to P6 a little bit further ahead as we watch to see whether Mandla can do something versus the rookie Billy Hendricks. It's the battle for the points finishes, and Mandla is close enough to have a possible savior through Luffield. Mandla, who will get a better exit, or can ye? Because joining the party now is Fensei360, who has had an absolute nightmare at this particular point in time. And Uncle Savvy, sadly, Bronboy, no longer racing in the top tier. Mandla is going to take advantage of Billy Hendricks over here. Oh, they bang wheels into Owens, Maggots, and Pickett. Who will take advantage? They bang wheels again to Mandla and Billy Hendricks. Oh, it's a huge crash, and Billy Hendricks somehow keeps that car intact. He slides on the through Maggots, and Pegasus will not be happy. And now it's Fensei who makes contact with Mandla. Fensei taking advantage of that chaos, and Mandla, who was within touching distance of a points finish, now has to contend with Fensei, who will not make his life easy at all. So much aggression, so much contact. Now Billy Hendricks has a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Billy Hendricks not happy with how that sequence just played out just now. And wow, all the way through the midfield. It is absolutely sensationally entertaining. Back towards the front we go. Definitely Duke versus Don Ravico. Here they come now through Brooklands. Duke might take Don. So reckons Espello in the comment section. Well. That may yet be the case, but Don will have, of course, an advantage before all is said and done. Let's take a look at the telemetry, the battery situation. In trying to keep up with the top two, Duke has used up about 75% of his battery power. Now down to the low 20s is Duke, the pride of Abuja, Nigeria. Now joining this multinational contingent of the BrakeAway Racing League roster. Definitely Duke, all the way from Abuja, all the way into Stoke Corner. Will he go on the inside, on the outside? Oh, he thought about it, but was not quite confident to dive on the inside of Don Ravico. And this battle will rage on for these remaining 4 laps. Meanwhile, the two veterans of the top tier, Smirch Jangle and Zotal, are scrapping it out for P5 at this particular point, but it may as well be P4, considering that 9-second time penalty that Simpiwe Zombie has to contend with when this race is all said and done. Lap 23 of 26 elapsed. Seaclay leads this race by a factor of 2.2 seconds. It has been nothing short of clinical from the 3-time champion, who will not go down without a fight on his return to the top tier of BrakeAway Racing League. We are watching, of course, the former champion who deposed Seaclay, that being Smirch Django, who is currently less than a second behind Zotal. Django, Zotal, Simpiwe, battling it out for that P4 spot. Donovan Laka is about 3.2 seconds behind and is being hunted down by Debo Crocodile. Bongani, distant cousin of Debo Alligator. Lap 23 of 26. Here they come now into Maggots and Beckett. And remember, Donovan Laka will not have as much grip, so you can expect Debo Crocodile to inch closer and closer. Ooh, Donovan Laka struggling there, as you can see. On the rear end, oh, even Debo Crocodile has a little bit of a moment on the exit of Beckett there down the center straight and down towards Stowe Corner. Here he comes. That red light is flashing on the back of the Williams. Donovan Laka has used up his battery down to about 10% or less. That is when that red light flashes on the back of a Formula 1 car. Oh, he went deep there, did Donovan Laka, into the Vale chicane, which gives Debo Crocodile the momentum. But through club, it looks like Donovan Laka has all that straight line speed down the Hamilton straight to be able to re-establish that half a second advantage to Debo Crocodile. Battle for P8. Back down we go. Mandla is going to want to get this overtake done on track. He knows that Baron Colby and Fensei have top of the... Oh, Mandla! It's a huge dive bomb on the inside of Fensei. Makes slight contact. But I tell you what, Mandla said, Noma Kanjani, I will go up to P10. I will go up into the points position. I will claim the first points of this season in the first race of the BrakeAway Racing League season. Mandla now up to P10 by hook or by crook, by any means necessary. Let's catch up now back with Smirch Django. who is trying to make light work of Zotal for that P5 spot. Ahead of Zotal is BrakeAway Racing on 6-lap old mediums. Oh, look at that, Smurch Jangle. Much more comfortable than the likes of Zotal through Magnussen Beckett, who's playing it quite conservatively there. That red light flashes. Zotal's battery is down to 10%. But guess what? So is Smurch Jangle. So it's even kill. Oh, Zotal on the outside of BrakeAway Racing through snow. Trizy Mighty could not get that move done. BrakeAway Racing said, "You shall not pass." Quoting Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings on the bridge of Khazad Dûm, BrakeAway Racing says, "You shall not go past." There to the Red Bull of Zotal, and Zotal, of course, was trying to get past the Aston Martin because you know that Smurch Jangle is not gonna let him go. Smurch Jangle is gonna do what he can to make sure that he overtakes this Red Bull. And as these cars now struggle for whatever grip is left at this late stage of this race, having gone pretty much flat out since the race restart, it is not going to be the most straightforward of finishes to this race. Meanwhile, Jonathan Laka has fallen behind this trio by a factor of about 5.6 seconds. Jonathan Laka down to P7. Smurch Jangle in that P6 spot. It's Jangle hunting down Zotal as best as he possibly can. And I'll tell you what, towards the front, definitely Duke at this point will be hoping to attack Don Ravico. Here we go now, in through Kopp's corner towards Magnussen Beckett's corner. It is also close. Oh, Smurch Jangle has to absolutely slam the brakes so as to not smash his front wing and go hurtling into the back of that RB19. Here he comes now on the exit of Beckett's corner. They all have DRS. They're all down to the last scraps of whatever remains of their battery power. And oh, it looks like the Purizani almost went completely off track. And as they come into Stowe, it is oh so close. But Smurch Jangle's gonna go for it. Smurch Jangle on the inside of Zotal. Will they bang wheels? They try to give it a little bit of room. They do bang wheels. And now through the Vilcher-Clay and Cup corner, they will make slight contact. And Jangle is up into P5 at the death as they begin the final lap of this race. Zotal says, no, you shall not pass. And they go wheel to wheel once again. Banging wheels through Abbey, it seems like. And Zotal overtakes the Ferrari once again. I can barely keep my breath at this late stage of the race. Meanwhile, at the front, definitely Duke has overtaken the champion. He's now up to P2, hunting down Seatley. And Duke, on an aging set of soft tires, makes that overtake in the final lap of this race. And Don Ravico, who had fallen so far behind the race leader, has about 20, 18, 17, 14% of his battery remaining. And here they come now through Kopp's corner. Don Ravico, who has won so many races, went unchallenged for so long last season, is now coming into Magnussen Beckett. And it looks like Seatley is on the verge of something special on the return to BrakeAway Racing League. I can barely believe what I'm seeing here. Don Ravico has one last chance to move down towards Stowe corner, but will he get it done? Yes, he does. They go wheel to wheel. What is happening to Duke? He sends it into the wall. He sends it into the wall in the last lap. And a word of appreciation for Seatley at the return. It is return of the king, like Aragorn at the end of that film series. Seatley takes the top step of the podium, and Don Ravico, having put on a sensational show here, will come home in P2. BrakeAway Racing takes advantage, but definitely Duke, despite that huge mistake, finds his way onto the podium. Smurch Jangle battles back to P4. Devo Crocodile, distant cousin of Devo Alligator, will finish the race in P5. Jonathan Laka, one half of Lemon and Herb, makes that car sing with a spicy P6 as Zotal has to contend with P7 when all is said and done. BrakeAway Racing, that 9-second penalty cost him dearly, and he goes tumbling down to P8. Romeo Mandla Massengo is up to P9, and Ban Kobe finishes the first race of the season in the points. It's P10 for the Haas superstar. Meanwhile, Fensei, who had a nightmare of a day having come in for so many pit stops, will finish in P11. Sitch figure of speech in P12. And man, what a sensational race that was. As Descano says, that definitely Duke was saved by penalties there. It was a breathless finish to the brand new race of the season. Let me know your driver of the day, folks, in the comments section, as Wandal Shesi congratulates the first man, the first driver, the first person who crossed the line. It is the three-time champion who is back with a bang, Seatley. Congratulations. How does that feel?
I don't believe it, bro. I honestly don't believe it.
Whoa! Take us through qualifying. Rain affected, of course. You were pretty much focused. You knuckled down. You did what had to be done. Just take us through that race. You weren't very confident in the comment section, even though people know what you're capable of. Just take us through quali and how that race panned out. It was so entertaining.
Quali, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what could have happened if it didn't rain, honestly. I think I just went out at the right time. I caught it just before it started raining. When I entered the pit, I actually went on the telemetry and I was just looking at people on track and I saw it started actually drizzling. And I saw Don was one of them. And yeah, I thought he was still going to set off fast the time, honestly. But yeah.
Wow, man. It's a grand slam on your return. Pole position, fastest lap. And, of course, coming across in P1, Don Rabico. It was oh so close in qualifying. Welcome back to BrakeAway Racing League. I know you two are going to put on a hell of a show. Take us through that qualifying. Take us through the race. Take us through that beautiful sequence of battles. And also, as both you and Seatley were fighting your way, I think you were among the first to pit.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to say congratulations, Sitle. Happy to see you have finally won again. That's it's good to see. It's good to see. some entertainment, finally, some entertainment. Some good entertainment, not like the one that we had, toxic ones that we had last season. No, I mean, it was just a mess for me. For me, it was just a mess, but I'm still happy with P2. With the quali, first of all, I chose the wrong tire. When you choose softer, harder, medium,
Yeah.
So I accidentally chose the harder compound. So I only had two softs. Two softs. So I used one in the quali, which I could only use one. And then I because I was I wanted to keep a soft to start my race with it.
Yeah.
So I was stuck because I wanted more softs for the race. So the first lap I put on fresh softs. The second lap in the quali I went out again with the old softs because I couldn't waste my one other soft that I had.
Okay,
And it started raining, so it was pointless. In the race, just safety cars came out at the wrong time. With the first safety car, Sitley was on mediums. I just said I'm gonna stick behind him. I know his tires are gonna finish by lap. After a couple of laps, they will be done. So I was cruising. I was enjoying until the other safety car came out, and I didn't have a set of softs, so I had to go on mediums. Because of my first mistake that I did of choosing the harder compound. Yeah. So knowing he was on softs and I was on mediums, I knew that it was a lost battle here. So we'll take it again to Qatar. Qatar will hopefully will race there again.
Man. Looking forward to that. Seatley, I just actually want to ask you, after the pit stop, actually towards the end of the race, how are your tires feeling? Because you managed to take advantage of that grip advantage to build an early gap to Don and Duke. So how are your tires feeling by the end of that stint, the end of the race?
The end. I locked up last turn. So they degraded right at the end. They felt decent throughout. I managed them pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Don, I just want to ask you, because it was looking very close between you and definitely Duke there. How much of a headache was he giving you there? And I just want to ask Seatley one last question after you.
No, I mean, Duke, I knew he was fast because we've been practicing together this past week. So I knew what his pace is and what he's capable of. I knew he got the pace, and if we had the full quali with Rai, I think he could have even had the chance to get pole. So he was in a good position. I knew he was a threat.
Absolutely. If any of you guys have Duke, I've been trying to add him to this interview, to this commentary chat. Perhaps.
Let me try to add him.
All right, and see, Clay, it's Qatar next. We've seen what Don Rabico can do there, and how are your confidence levels going into Qatar? I'm not sure if you also were racing in Tier 2 in Qatar last season.
Yeah, I did. It was decent. Yeah, but I feel like I'm a better driver now than I was last season. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, this season has been blown wide open. Yeah, I honestly don't know what's gonna happen. It's exciting.
What's gonna happen is you're gonna get a whoop ass. That's what's gonna happen.
It is first blood to see Clay. First blood to see Clay in who's gonna get their butt whooped. But of course, the congratulations also to definitely Duke on debut in the top tier on the podium P3. Take us through that race. Take us through your quality and that battle with Tom Rabico towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Just to paraphrase, I think there's some. We might have to adjust your audio settings, Duke. They can't hear you on the stream. Duke was saying he was looking forward to today's race. He's been practicing with Don Rabico, and also it's been an adjustment for Duke to get used to ABS off settings, but which is something that, of course, come the start of this race, he felt a little bit more comfortable with. And Duke, I just want to hear your thoughts. It's Qatar up next. Your expectations for that race and your own targets for this season, Duke. Yeah. All right. So playing it nice and calm, he says that, he's just taking it track by track, not getting too carried away is Duke, and he's just gonna, see how it goes towards the end of the season. Well, it is Qatar up next. Gentlemen, I don't know if you have any final points to mention before we head off. I'll start with you, C-Clay.
Yeah.
Sorry, come again.
Now, just some final thoughts before we say goodbye. I'll start with C-Clay.
Yeah, Tier 2 guys came fighting. That's what I can say. We came fighting. I want to see what's going to happen in the next race. There's some faster people who weren't here today. For example, Sensei, my teammate. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. And yeah, Don?
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying this season. It's gonna be nice. I'm looking forward to it. We will go to Qatar and we will whoop some candy asses on them.
We will see how that pans out. Duke, congratulations to you as well. And we hope to see all three of you on the podium. We hope to see many more of these incredible drivers. Please remember to join us for tier. Yes.
One more thing. You Sitle, you must tell your minions there to stop playing those games like Donaton Laka, where when we were behind him, me and Django, he was blocking.
I didn't do anything.
And then as soon as he sees you, he got left. He didn't want to go to the gravel.
I think he
just to look for you.
He lost out.
He was like, go, my savior, our hope.
He lost out.
Okay, gentlemen. Okay, gentlemen, I'm going to have to thank you very much. I'm going to have to wrap it up there. We will see all three of you in Qatar. Thank you to Azuri, Key Music, Band Kobe, Uncle Savvy, Manray, everyone who was in the comment section, Estelo and Esbuda as well. And I think we also had Grimjaw, Capoza, and the Nucho was in the comment section, the Piso as well. We appreciate all of you. We do hope to see you. Tier 3 races at 8 p.m. on Tuesday, and Tier 2 races on Wednesdays, 8 p.m. And you will catch these drivers and more in Qatar next week, Thursday, 7:30 Central African time. From myself, it has been a sensational season opener. Thank you, and good night.